Hello everybody and welcome to America's home for racing for season finale night in Racecraft TV Rallycross 2021. And where else would you find coverage but right here on, of course, Racecraft TV. That's right, we're getting ready to go racing for the 11th and final round here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Dane Baird here alongside Joshua Lee with car cams provided by Istvan below at trackcams22.com. Josh, RX2 coming up first as always in this championship, and the championship in RX2 has already been decided. I thought Andre Borison taking the championship win in this series. You can see he's got a 30-point gap all the way up at the front. That is insurmountable. There is no possible opportunity for Trevor Teal or anyone else for that matter to catch up. But Josh, we're up for some fantastic racing. There are still places to be gained in other parts of the championship. We've got a prize draw from Sparco coming out later on in the evening as well, so lots to look forward to for the drivers, even if there's no championship up for grabs.
Yeah, and for Andre Borison, of course, and what a dominating performance it has been from him all season long. When you go back to just take a look at the amount of races we have run, Andre Borison with a win at Daytona, a win at Brands Hatch, a win at Barcelona, a win at Hell, and a win at Sonoma 1 week ago. And he is currently on a streak of 4 wins in a row, looking for 5 in a row here at Charlotte. Just what a performance from Andre Borison this season of RX2 competition. And a great showing, of course, from Trevor Teal, one of the most improved drivers I think we both can agree on this season. Andrew Howell, Zachary Drapkin, James Watson, Sean Winkler, all with great runs. Zach Knowles with a couple of wins in there as well. But Andre Borison with a fantastic run, and just every single race very consistent up at the front. So he has already locked up that points championship. But we still have an exciting race coming up here from Charlotte. Like you mentioned, Dane, they still have an opportunity to win some prizes, and they still have an opportunity to get a win on the board before we call it quits to the end of this season.
And just looking at those point standings, 8th, 9th and 10th in the championship, you've got the first 3, I should say, race winners in this series. Michael Lawrence, Christopher Plumley and Zach Knowles. So those drivers not able to do a lot of the rounds. Unfortunately, we couldn't have them for a few rounds, so that's why they're at the bottom. But that shows the season's been pretty competitive. We haven't had the pretty big grids, I would say. We haven't had massive grids here in RX2, but the grids that we have had have just been fantastic in terms of the racing quality that they bring, and we always have brilliant battles out on the circuit. We are here at Charlotte. There is the points structure on the screen. Maximum 23 points if you win both your heat and your feature race. Of course, the feature race being the longer race, the more prestigious race, is the one that gives the most points. Charlotte Motor Speedway then, it was opened a very long time ago, back in 1960. It's had a few changes here and there since then, and most recently iRacing decided to stick a good old rallycross circuit in the the infield of the Roval. It is a very fun circuit, very flowing. It's one of the more fun circuits to drive on the surface. It has a lot of dirt. It's got the highest percentage of dirt of any circuit in IRX, so a lot of sliding for the drivers to be doing out there, Josh, and really just a very fun circuit. And for once, we do have places where overtaking is quite possible.
Yeah, and this track has a lot of great overtaking opportunities. To talk about turn number 1, the dive in to that corner. And you also talk about going through the dirt sections. You can get a really good run through there as well. You can also just make a lot of opportunities work on this course. Then I think a lot of different tracks, you really don't have a lot of opportunities to make those passes. Here, basically any corner, you can send it up the inside and make that pass work, especially through these dirt sections, because all of them are pretty flowing when we talk about the dirt sections. There really is no hard turns in any of the dirt, very flowing through the sections here at the Roval, so expect a couple of passes to be made in a couple of those spots. But as we take a look at the race analysis, Dane, pretty similar to RX1, but we always talk about that fixed setup in the 8x incident limit.
Yeah, so the drivers can't get too beating and banging in these races, because yeah, if you do get a couple of 4x contacts, you're gonna have a pretty short evening, unfortunately. So that's a pretty good incentive for the drivers to keep it clean, and unlike what we've been seeing in the World Championship lately. But other than that, Charlotte, it is just such a fantastic circuit. We've got 5 lap heats where the top 4 will advance, and then 5 lap last chance qualifier, and a 10 lap feature race where the majority of the points will be scored. We've got 8 cars on the grid, and that is about the most that we've seen really all season. I do believe it means we're just going to have a 2-race format. We're going to have one heat, so the 5-lap heat with all 8 drivers, and then 1 feature race. So we'll see. Yes, that is confirmed as qualifying it ticks over. The grid is set, and a few new faces to the series, Josh, mixing things up there at the front.
And great to see a couple of new faces here towards the end of the season. Hopefully we get to see a little bit more of them when it comes to the next season of Racecraft TV Rallycross. But we'll take a look at where they currently stand on the timing sheet for heat number 1. It's Benjamin Forster that is going to walk away with the top spot when it comes to qualifying, and only 1 heat tonight, so everybody will be starting here in heat number 1. It's Sean Winkler to the outside of that opening row. Then Andrew Howell, Tor Andre Borison, Trevor Teal, James Watson down in 6th. And looking down the rest of the grid, Dane, as they get ready to run off, Ian Fisher and Nathan Ramsey.
Yep, and the race has just started. We are already green. It's actually a very even start. They're almost making a bit of contact. There's the driver on pole position, Benjamin Forster, who gets the best start, and Sean Winkler up the inside. He's got the switchback through turn 2, or I should say it's turn 2. It's the second corner of the race, but now they head into turns 1 and 2 for the first time. These long double right-hander in the dirt, and it does a fantastic start to the race from the driver right out in front. It is Sean Winkler all the way out in first position. He's got a bit of a gap as well to Benjamin Forster just behind. Tor Andre Borison, current series champion, is up in 3rd at the moment, trying to stick a nose up the inside as they make their way back into the second of the 2 dirt sections of the circuit. They're going 3 wide effectively through this final dirt corner and back out onto the tarmac to finish lap number 1. It's the tarmac chicane. You've got the Joker on the left hand side, and in goes Tor Andre Borison. He's going to be followed by Trevor Teal. Anyone else taking to the Joker? Yes, it's Ian Fisher and Nathan Ramsey.
Already a great start at the front for Sean Winkler to get out in front. And looking back at Tor Andre Borison, now going to have a lot of work to do. You can take a look in front of him. As you can see, James Watson is up there in that VW Beetle. Now Borison is the first driver to take to the Joker Dane, but it's still going to be a little bit difficult for Borison to make up that time. Watson goes wide. This is going to open the door to the inside for that Subaru of Tor Andre Borison. The drivers in front of him will still need to go into the Joker lane, but he needs to make sure he's keeping up speed so he doesn't lose much time. But here comes Trevor Teal to the inside, gonna try and fight with Borison as Watson moves into the Joker lane. Now Borison and Teal are each going to move up 1 spot. They all go by James Watson, but they continue to battle as Sean Winkler continues to lead the way.
Yeah, it's going to be crucial now for Borison and Teal to really get a move on. They did get held up quite considerably on that last lap, not necessarily by Watson being slower. It was just that if there's a car in front of you, you are going to go slower. So Borison really needs to get his head down now and try and get some good laps put together before Winkler heads into the Joker lane. If I'm Winkler at the moment, I'm heading down straight away. I've seen on the relative screen maybe that Borison's being held up, and I'm going to head down into the Joker. Is he going to do that? No, he's going to continue along, probably saving it for the last lap. Anyone else going to the Joker? Yes, I believe both cars behind, so that's Howell and Forster both going down into the Joker, and Borison and Teal overtake both of them as they may have made contact in the Joker. Actually, I believe Howell has had a bit of an issue there in the wall, and who's that going slowly coming out of the Joker, out of turns 1 and 2, I should say. It's Borison going a bit slowly, ran a little bit wide, maybe tapped the wall on the outside as well. So now all eyes should go on to Winkler as he makes his way through the dirt section, and he's going to take to the Joker either this time or next time. It's worth noting that Joker Delta is around 2 seconds lost, so you go backwards when you take the Joker, unlike every other American circuit on the IRX calendar. He's going to go around one more time. He'll take it on the last lap.
Last lap joker for Winkler. I'm not sure if that's going to be the best opportunity for him here, Dane. I believe Tor-Andre Borison might be able to make up just that little bit of time that he is going to need to get that lead away. But we'll have to see as Winkler works his way back into the asphalt section, right back into the dirt. You mentioned it in the open, Dane, just how much dirt is really on this circuit. The highest percentage of dirt that we have all season long, and that the World Championship is going to have all season long in their finale on Wednesday afternoon. Here comes Winkler through the final couple of corners in the dirt section. Let's see where he will come out of the Joker lane. There he goes into the Joker. Where is Borison going to come out? I don't believe it is going to be enough on board with Tor-Andre Borison, but it's not enough, and Winkler's going to walk away with the first heat win of the night.
Yeah, brilliant stuff for Winkler. They really took advantage of the other drivers getting held up a little bit, but got a fantastic start from that front row of the grid. Did a really good strategy. Didn't try and hold it around the outside through the first corner at the start of the race. Just cut inside and really got a fantastic exit. So yeah, really good stuff from Sean on that occasion. Car number 17 takes the win. You can see the rest of the race result up on the screen. Usually we would say the top 4 advance to the feature, but everyone is going to advance to the feature, and this is what the grid will be in around 2 minutes time when we get ready to go for the feature race. 10 laps that will be, and 1 joker lap. However, the track has been reset and the drivers now have 2 minutes of warm-up to just get reacquainted with everything. If you had a bit of damage, maybe you want to get back used to driving with a clean car. And only a couple drivers making it out, and there we go, everybody is starting to go back out onto the circuit. But Josh, yeah, like you were saying, so much dirt on this circuit, and I'm not sure how the percentages, I'm using percentages that were calculated by Arjuna Kankapati from Racecraft TV. But he calculated those percentages. I'm not sure if he counted the amount of tarmac from the very start line up until turn 1, and if he has, then well, the regular lap would have a much higher percentage of dirt, because you can see on an onboard lap the only tarmac parts of the circuit are the final 2 corners, the run down and towards turn number 1, and the tiny little bit of tarmac between turns 3 and 4. So it's really a very, very much dirt-oriented circuit, and it can be very tricky to get good lap time, but once you nail those corners in the dirt section, it is so satisfying.
Oh, definitely is. Those are the most satisfying corners in all of Rallycross. If you can hit those dirt apexes so perfectly, the track just flows. That's true in both dirt sections. The one that we just saw Benjamin Forster go through just came over the jump, now back onto the asphalt, right back into the dirt. You nail this first apex, that just leads you right in to nailing the second apex in the right-hander that he's coming up to right now. You nail that one, you swing the car over, you nail that one, and then you get on the gas and right back around to complete the lap. This track just flows so well, and it goes really good for drivers who just naturally have that flow when it comes to their race cars. And excited to see how the World Championship guys do, and I'm excited to see how these RX2 drivers are going to take to the track here in the feature race.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's the warm-up session has ended. Everyone has just been very unceremoniously kicked off of the circuit, and we are getting ready to go racing for the feature race here for the final time in 2021 in our Racecraft TV Rallycross. We are on the grid, and the grid is just about to be shown up on the screen. It is exactly the same results as we had from the heat race. Sean Winkler will take pole position after his win. Tor Borison alongside Trevor Teal on the far outside. Second row, 2 cars in the middle, Andrew Howe and Benjamin Forster, with Ian Fisher and a couple of other drivers on the back row. You can see it's 3x2x3. I believe that is Watson and Nathan Ramsey. We are all ready to go then for the final time here in Racecraft TV Rallycross RX2. Oh, that's a fantastic start from Sean Winkler on the inside in the number 17 Subaru, 3 Subarus wide, heading in towards the first corner of the race, and a great start from Sean Winkler. Once again, he will lead, heading across the line to start lap number 1. Then in second place, it is Tor-Andre Borison, closely followed by Trevor Teal. Andrew Howell settling for 4th position. It's actually a very clean start for the most part. Watson has just tapped the barriers on the outside in between turns 1 and 2, but it is very clean at the moment. Just Howell's trying to get past Trevor Teal, but still single file, and actually no, there's a send up the inside for Benjamin Forster, trying to get up the inside of Andrew Howell. They're going side by side through the dirt section for the first time. Remember, this is a 10-lap race, and there he goes up the inside in towards the dirt section, and no, once again Howell gets the switchback. This is what I mean by this track gives the opportunity for some great racing. 2 cars into the Joker, that's Teal and Forster.
So 2 drivers come in. It looks like that's going to be it for the field. So Teal and Forster, the only 2 to come in. Second verse looking a lot the same as the first, Dane, as Sean Winkler leads the way, but look who's chasing him down. Here comes Tor-Andre Borison, the dominant driver of the season, the confirmed champion of RX2, looking to end out on another high note and looking to walk away with the win here in the feature as well. A little bit of a tap to the wall on the inside, but you can see another flick back over to the right, trying to work his way through that second corner in the dirt. It looks like Winkler might have Tor-Andre Borison's number here. To either of them Joker? No, they don't. It'll be 8 to go this time by. Still a lot of time remaining here in this race, but Borison is going to be in for a bit of a tough race here, trying to chase down Winkler from the front. Just doesn't look like Borison has the pace at the beginning of this race.
Yeah, it definitely does look like he might not just be the fastest driver on the circuit, which is something that we're very not used to seeing here at the Racecraft TV Rallycross RX2. We'll see who has taken their Joker laps. That will update almost instantly because the Joker exit merges straight onto the start-finish, or underneath the start-finish gantry. So for once, the Joker laps remaining will be up to date straight away. We won't have to wait for a lap for the drivers to actually get their Joker laps remaining updated. So it is everyone with a 1 next to their name. They have still got to take the Joker. There goes Howell through the Joker. That 1 will shortly become a 0 as he comes across the line just ahead of Trevor Teal. You can see there going side by side almost. It looks like side by side, but it's not quite because of the way that the line works through that dirt corner. They go side by side, and then they come back out of the corner in single file. So drivers still to take the Joker with the top 3, Winkler, Borison and Watson. We'll see what happens here because I believe Watson's just in front of these 2, and now riding on board with the race leader, Sean Winkler, with 6 laps to go as he comes across the line. And you've got to assume that he's going to take the Joker lap on the last lap once again. He has no real reason, Josh, to take it any earlier.
And you can see James Watson just very quickly dipping into the Joker lane himself. Tor-Andre Borison, I think, would benefit from an early Joker rather than Sean Winkler. Winkler out in front. He has no challenge from Borison right now. 1.5 seconds is the gap. If Borison can get the Joker lane done and then get out in front, then Winkler would have to respond. But I would think Winkler's response would be a very quick Joker after that and right back to the front for Winkler. So Borison's going to have to make up this time pretty naturally on the racetrack, and we'll see if he's going to be able to do that. What a run for Winkler tonight as he's trying to go for his first feature race win of the season. There goes Borison on in. So Winkler's going to have to respond to this Joker, wondering if he's going to take it next lap or if he's going to get it out of the way, or if he's just going to wait for the final lap to come around and then take the Joker. Very interesting to see what's going to happen here for Winkler.
Yeah, Borison has a big gap that he's going to try and close down to a smaller one. He doesn't have to catch up and overtake, though. Now, Winkler very easily could Joker now and just eradicate that strategy completely. We'll see if that's what he decides to do. He could just stay out and trust his strategy. We'll see right now. Is he going to set it up for a Joker entry? It doesn't look like he has. No, he's going to stay out. So he is sticking to his guns. He's going to go 4 laps to go as he comes across the line here through the dirt section. Honestly, my favorite circuit in IRX. I think that it goes without question. It is such a fantastic circuit when you can get it right. And it is, yeah, it's an absolutely amazing flowy circuit. 4 laps to go. We've still got battles elsewhere. Remember, it's not just about the lead too. We've got Trevor Teal almost on the back of Forster at the moment as they go through turn 3 now. This right-hander using all the exit there on the outside, using the painted runoff as well. Towards Forster as they go now, and it's a big stand up the inside for Trevor Teal. Are they going to make contact? No, he just about gets it slowed up in time. now through the right-hander, and he's run a little bit deep there, and Forster might be turned a bit too much. He's going to get into the back of him and rotate him a little bit too much. Luckily, that four-wheel drive on the dirt has really helped Forster out there, just flooring it, and it straightens itself up as Teal all over the back of Forster, really trying to get that move done.
Not a lot of time to get it done either. Oh, Teal gets a little bit wide going through the first corner of the dirt, but Andrew Howell's in the wall. That's going to send Teal off. Teal's going into the wall now. I believe he reacted to Andrew Howell getting up and out of the groove and down onto the apron very slowly. We'll take a quick look at the replay and see what on earth happened here to Andrew Howell. Very slow on the inside of the dirt section here. Dane, let's take a look.
Oh, he's got a bit too deep, and that is so easy to do when I was practicing for the All-Star Invitational. I must have done that so many times. Garrett Maines backed me up on that one when we visited this circuit for the third round of this season. After the race, he did tell me he's done that many times in practice. It's so easy to do. You just send it in a little bit too deep, and you clip that bit of wall that sticks out there. It's a really terribly paced bit of wall for the Marshall's Marshall stand opening, and Trevor just caught out by that, trying to avoid the driver on the inside, ended up running wide himself. Very unfortunate stuff, as the leader is on lap number 9. Is he going to come down to the Joker now? No, he is saving it for the very last lap, and looking at that gap, it is increasing. He gained 3/10 on the last lap. This lap he has lost those 2/10 again. But of course, with the gap 4 seconds, unless something catastrophic happens here to Sean Winkler on this last lap, he's only really got 3 corners left until the Joker gets through that corner very cleanly. It's easy to clip the wall on the inside if you're not careful. He's managed to do that successfully. Now through the left-hander, doesn't run wide. Very clean line through here, it must be said. Now swooping through the right-hander, he is going to set himself up. He's going to stick to the right-hand side of the circuit as much as possible. There he goes. And he's going to thread the needle between all of the blue curbs on either side and make his way very nicely through the Joker and avoiding the invisible wall on the inside. And it comes across the line, and he will win the final feature race of the RX2 season. Sean Winkler is your winner for round 11 from Charlotte Motor Speedway. But that man right there has a lot to be happy with, and you can see right now weaving his way through the first couple of corners. Season 1 in 2021 of Racecraft TV Rallycross. The RX2 champion is right there, the number 55 Subaru of Tor-André Borison.
What a fantastic season for Borison it has been. He got 1 win at Daytona, and then 4 in a row from Brands Hatch to Barcelona, Hell, and Sonoma. Just an absolutely dominant season for the number 55. Amazing to see, and amazing to see all of that. And it looks like we have a little bit of a post-race encore here from Trevor Teal.
Is he gonna do a flip? I think that's what he's told us. Oh, here he goes. Here he goes. Oh, it's huge!
We got it!
And he just about avoids the barrier at the end as well, doing Nitro Circus proud. That is sensational from Trevor Teal. I have to go and try that after this. He's got me. I need to go and try that. We're going to see a replay from on board. This is going to look hilarious. Bang! And lands it pretty perfectly as well. Honestly, that's about as clean a landing as you can get. Fantastic stuff for Trevor Teal. Well, here are your full race results up on the screen then. Sean Winkler, of course, taking the win by 2.1 seconds it was across the line. Tor-André Borison, of course, your Season 1 champion in RX2. Benjamin Forster finished in 3rd after overtaking Andrew Howell, with Howell making that mistake into turns 1 and 2, losing out on that final podium position of the season. Trevor Teal also losing out on that occasion in that same incident, running a bit wide, trying to avoid the stricken 666 car. James Watson in 6th position, Ian Fisher in 7th, and Nathan Ramsey was out of the feature race after just 3 laps. Very unfortunate stuff on that occasion, but it is time to have a bit of a chat with a couple of the drivers. Josh, I don't know about you, but I think there's only really one place to start. And, well, I guess there is only one place to start now, because we only have one driver, as looks like Trevor Teal has decided to leave the waiting area. And here we go. We have got lining up in the interview waiting area. Here we go. It is your 2021 RX2 Season 1 champion, Tor Andre Borison, joins us in the broadcasting booth. Tor, second place here today, but first place in the championship. You are the champion of RX2. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Sean was just way too fast today, so I had no chance to keep up with him. But yeah, another clean start and another good race.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pretty fantastic season for yourself. You've got a whole host of wins across the season. You took the win, your first win of the season back in September at Round 4 at Daytona. And then topping it off again at Brands Hatch. And then you just went on a rampage. You won at Brands Hatch, Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia, Hell in 3 consecutive meetings. Then, of course, we had the Phoenix Halloween special event where there were no points on offer. You then went to Sonoma in the last round, taking the win as well. So essentially 4 consecutive meeting victories in the feature races for you. And obviously, that sounds like it was easy, but I think you're the best person to tell us that it was definitely not an easy season for you.
Yeah, no, it was definitely not easy, but I think my speed suddenly improved, and then the qualifying has been quite important, and just the clean start we've been having. That's I think that's been the clue. Not getting into any trouble, just staying clean, and yeah.
It seems for some reason that a lot of the series I've been commentating over the past few weeks have been ending in their final races. So I'll ask you the same question that I've asked everybody else that I've asked after a season. Out of the 11 rounds, and I guess Phoenix counts as well as a race, out of the 12 events that we've had over the course of the season, which one has been your favorite?
I think maybe the hardest win was I think that was Barcelona. That's at least the one where I was shaking the hardest after. Andrew Howell was pushing me quite hard at the end. So yeah, that was fun.
That was actually a very good race weekend. I think that a meeting. Josh and I didn't have too high hopes for Barcelona, but yeah, you guys definitely delivered. And across the entire season, really, you guys showed up and provided some really good racing. Let's talk about the entire championship as a whole. Do you have any notable moments that you look back on that you think maybe helped you taking the championship? Because obviously, with those 4 consecutive race wins, that helped you on your way massively. But did you think there was any one moment in the season that you really started to gain traction?
Yeah, I think it was Barcelona. As I think Trevor and Watson got a bit unlucky in the start. So that's where I started to get a gap. And then I just increased it from there, really. Well,
so you have been absolutely sensational, especially in the second half of the season, taking home the first ever Racecraft TV Rallycross Championship. Even before the RX1 drivers go out for the final time, we see who wins there. Yeah, massive congratulations to yourself. Hopefully we'll see you back on the track very, very soon. But yeah, congratulations. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, sure. My own company, motorsportfilmer.net, Anders Grøndal Rally Team, Syndfjellet.com. And also a shout out to Crystal King for inviting me and the support. And Trevor Teal, just Ed mentioned, for running in the series. Also, again, you guys for providing the coverage.
Well, it's been a pleasure, and yeah, congratulations on the championship and the many race wins and the second place here today. Of course, a pretty good outing at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Well, Tor, thank you so much for joining us, and yeah, hopefully we'll see you very, very soon.
Thank you. See you in RX1 next year, I guess.
Oh, well, I'll definitely see you in RX1. We'll see you up there with the very quick boys. We'll see what you can do in RX1 next time. Well, thanks a lot, and we will see you very soon.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good night.
You too. All right. That was fantastic to hear from our new champion in RX2. Josh, you are standing by, I believe, with tonight's race winner.
Feature race winner for RX2 tonight, Sean Winkler. And Sean, your best outing of the season here in Charlotte. Did something just click for you when it came to this track? Where was that speed coming from?
Man, I wish I knew where that speed came from, but I'm glad I had it today. I just wanted to finish this season on a high note, and I don't think I could have done any better here.
And of course, coming into tonight, points were not looking, of course, in your favor. Tor had really taken that championship and ran with it. But
for sure,
a good ending to the season, I think, for you. And going through the season, of course, you had a lot of trials and tribulations. What was that season for you? How would you rank it in from a scale of 1 to 10 on just your performance in RX2 compared to everybody else?
Man, that's a good question. I think, I had a couple weeks where I missed. I had some family stuff. I had some wrecks in here. So maybe a 7 out of 10. I felt okay with it. But as the season progressed, I just got more calm and smooth and was able to just focus on hitting lines.
And of course, going into the next season of Racecraft TV Rallycross, can we expect to see you again and back in RX2, or are you going to make the graduation up into RX1?
I think I probably need one more good season in RX2. I felt good, but not consistent enough. So just want to work on my skills down there on fixed cars and just focus on my lines and driving as clean as I can.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here post-race, Sean. Who makes it all possible for you? Who you got to give a shout out to?
Oh, I have my old trusty Logitech G25 here for keeping me in the race. Josh Edmondson for dragging me in here to make me do this. Thanks a lot to him. And I don't know, just me for showing up. And if anybody wants to buy or sell a house in Seattle, I'm your guy. There you go.
Well, if anybody's looking for real estate in Seattle, Sean Winkler is your guy. Sean, thank you so much for joining us here post-race, your RX2
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Race winner. Thank you so much once again for joining us. And Dane, this is going to be another interesting interview coming up, as well as Trevor Teal is now joining us in the broadcast booth.
I think this might be my favorite person in the entire series to interview. Honestly, he just never fails he never disappoints. He never fails to bring something interesting. Last time it was a pickle suit. This time it's a front flip after the race. Like, that was insane. Trevor, I before we even get started about the race, that end to the feature race, doing the front flip, that was awesome.
Yeah, I really have been working on my Rallycross freestyle, and it's been really paying off. So,
doing the Nitro Circus team proud. That's one thing for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, gotta keep it wild for them.
And it was a perfect landing as well. It was beautiful. We watched some slow motion replays of it. It was fantastic. But I just do want to know one more thing about that. Where did you learn that? When did you figure out that was a thing you can do?
Well, one time during practice, we all got a little bored, and we were doing some donuts in that area back there, and one of us kind of just jumped down there, and it pops your front end up and kind of hits a curb, and you just tumble. It's awesome.
Well, that was really a good way to finish off the season. That was a fantastic sight to see. But let's have a little bit of a chat about the race as well, because I think that's what everyone's here for at the end of the day. A pretty good round from you. I mean, you had that mistake or slash incident. It wasn't so much of a mistake, I think, more than trying to react to another car sort of stuck in front of you. But through turns 1 and 2, you had that slight incident involving Hal, and it was Forster as well. Other than that, it looked like you had some pretty clean, good racing out there.
Yeah, I felt pretty good. Yeah, that incident there, it kind of spooked me, and I just kind of got out of my line and had a little conversation with the wall. But yeah, it was a pretty good round. I felt a little tight, but it was definitely good practice for the All-Star race coming up here.
Yeah, and speaking of the All-Star races, I think you brought out the pickle suit again in one of the All-Star races. I think at Phoenix, I think it was that I was watching. It was a great thing to see in that pickle suit. Hopefully that will return very soon. But yeah, the All-Star race that's coming up on Wednesday, what do you think your chances are of having a good result there? Because obviously you've just done the best practice possible in RX2 in Racecraft TV Rallycross. What do you think about that series in particular?
Man, I love that series so much. I'm really lucky to even be in that series because I mean, like, it's all stars and I'm kind of just a squid. So definitely thanks to Chris Leon for that and everybody at Nitro Circus for getting me in there. But yeah, it's kind of difficult because there's definitely some fast people in there, and then there's some people that kind of know what they're doing. So it gets wild, and you just have to have a lot of luck in that series.
I think 99% of iRacing Rallycross in general is luck. And then the 1% is if you get lucky, do you have the skill to take advantage of it? Honestly, with some of the things that we've been seeing over the last few months in the All-Stars and the World Championship Series, really, it's not had the cleanest driving standards. Here in Racecraft TV Rallycross, however, it's been great. You had a lovely clean battle with Forster as well. I would like to know what your thoughts are of the Charlotte Motor Speedway Rallycross circuit. It's my favorite Rallycross circuit. I'm slightly biased in that, but it is definitely my favorite one to drive. What is your favorite Rallycross circuit, and where does Charlotte rank?
Charlotte's definitely in my top 3. That's a hard one. I'd have to say Sonoma's my favorite.
That is definitely fair. Sonoma's that's a similar circuit to Charlotte, really. Lots of dirt, the second highest percentage of dirt on the IRX calendar, only second to Charlotte, and lots of nice flowing corners. So yeah, that makes sense that they would both be up there. But yeah, the same for me, really, except the other way around. Well, yeah, Trevor, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on the 4th place here in Racecraft TV Rallycross. Good luck on Wednesday for the All-Star race. If everyone wants to go and cheer on Trevor, he's doing a fantastic job in that series, so definitely go and do that. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for joining us for the entire series. It's been a lot of fun to commentate on. I'm sure it's been a lot of fun out there to drive as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, everyone's been doing a fantastic job on that.
Thank you. Real quick, I just want to say congratulations to Tor for winning the championship. And I'd like to thank my dad for always helping me out, Factory Sim Sport, Legion Speed Sport, and Nitro Circus, and everybody at Racecraft. Thank you guys. Did an awesome job this season. Appreciate you guys.
You've been doing an awesome job on the admin side of things as well. Well, Trevor, thanks so much. Hopefully we'll see you for the next season.
Yes, sir. It will happen.
That is great news, and yeah, we hope to see everyone out on the circuit once again for another series, somewhat #soon. Josh, one more driver from RX2 has decided he wants to have a chat, and it is Benjamin Forster, and I believe you're standing by.
Yep, join us at the broadcast booth now. And Benjamin, of course, we haven't seen much from you this season of RX2, but you come into Charlotte, lay down a 3rd place in a podium, and I think that's a pretty good day for you as well.
I'm pretty happy about it.
Well, coming into tonight, of course, like I mentioned, I haven't seen much of you this season, so just coming into this track, what really drew you in to run this race? Was it the way the track works? Was it the setup you had in the car? Or what drew you into racing Charlotte here for RX2?
Actually, I joined for the race last week. That was actually my first race with the league here, and I did pretty well, except for tapping the wall in lap 1 of the feature. But yeah, so this is just race number 2 for me.
And of course, you've showed some good speed, and you mentioned the speed that you had at Sonoma as well. Unfortunately, we weren't able to have coverage here on Racecraft TV, but this week as well, some great speed from you. Going into next season, of course, whenever that happens, are you going to be coming back in RX2 to lay down a couple more laps and get a couple more good finishes? Because I do think a podium finish to round out the season and only your 2nd start has got to feel good.
Oh, yeah. I plan on racing the whole season next season. I do the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors, so I jump right over from that to this, and I'm super excited.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to join us here in the broadcast booth, Benjamin. Congratulations on your podium finish. Who makes it all possible for you? Who you got to thank?
The wife and kids for letting me sit down and do this.
Very simple. I love it. Thank you very much for joining us, Benjamin. And once again, congratulations on your podium finish.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Well, Dane, that is all of our interviews for RX2, and we're getting ready to get started with RX1. The pro-level drivers, some world championship drivers are getting ready to hit the track, and we have a bit of a tighter run in the point standings here for RX1 than we had for RX2.
I would say that's being a bit generous. We've gone from a 30-point gap out in front of the RX2 to a 5-point gap between the top 3 in this series. Alex Bergeron currently leads after the first 10 rounds of the season. He's got 139 points, 5 points back. Tied for second place are Garrett Maines and Adam Alderton. Then you've got to go back a considerable amount to get to Josh Fox, Josh Edmondson. They're pretty close as well, only 4 points separating them. But all eyes for this are going to be on those top 3, and I'm very happy to say that all 3 of them are in the session. They are getting ready to go. We have got 11 drivers, meaning we are also going to get heats and possibly a consolation race as well. I think definitely, actually, yes, we are going to get a consolation race as well. So this is fantastic. We're going to get a whole host, a full event in RX1, which we haven't seen a whole lot this season, so this is fantastic. We're going to have the perfect end off here at Charlotte. You can see that just 5 points separating the top 3. It's going to be intense, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Garrett Maines didn't have the best round here before in the All-Star Invitational, but just looking back at my notes, it was Alex Bergeron, who's currently the championship leader, who won at Charlotte. It was his first race win of the season, and he's looking pretty good out there as well in practice so far. So honestly, it looks like it could be a very, very interesting season finale.
With those drivers being at the top of the board, I definitely think it's going to be exciting. And you talk about Alex Bergeron, this was his first win of Racecraft TV Rallycross when we came here back in the beginning of this season for the 3rd round. So expecting him to have some speed, but you really cannot discount Garrett Maines. You cannot discount the other Adam Alderton, who is in the fight. You cannot discount the other drivers on the racetrack who maybe don't have a chance in the championship, but they're still looking for a win out here. They're not going to give way to the championship drivers just so they can race it out. They want to still win these heats, win the consolation, win the feature. They want to keep those wins going and get those points. We'll try and get an official word on who the champion is after this race is concluded, but if we do not, we will have at least a provisional champion before everything is calculated in. But at the end of today, we will see who that championship favorite is, at least going into the full checking of it, but hopefully we'll have an official word on who that champion is after the results are put into the iRacing League directory.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. Depending on how the results end up, it could be that we know who the champion is. For example, Alex Bergeron does a sweep. He wins his heat race, wins a feature race. We can have a pretty good idea who's going to win the championship. However, if it's not that, then we could have a bit of a wait for the stewards in the iRacing league system to decide who has won the championship, and yeah, we will bring that information to you as soon as we possibly can once the race is over. I believe it'll be 15 minutes after the green flag that those points will be calculated and everything will be set in stone. I am so looking forward to this event, but we've also got to take into consideration, like you said, not just the top 3. Everyone on the circuit is very quick. You've got Jakob Raffos and Sindre Silva, 2 World Championship drivers, not in a title fight here, but they are obviously extremely quick. Jakob Raffos is the fastest driver at the circuit that I know that's on the track at the moment. He is easily the fastest driver, and in qualifying at the moment, he's half a second ahead. I didn't actually look at that before I said he was the fastest driver I know. When we did the All-Star Invitational in the spring, Josh, he was grinding every single day for the week leading up to the event in official races, rookie and the D-Class series as it was then. And I was in it with him, and he was wiping the floor with me, really. He was absolutely insane. And it shows he grinded that circuit, and Adam Alderton is taking second place in qualifying now, still 3.5 tenths back. Raffos had the worst luck possible in that 3rd round of the season when we went there earlier on. I think Bo Albert World Championship levels of bad luck that he had in that event. If he doesn't have that bad luck, he very easily could take the win in both heat and the feature, taking away some points that are available for some of the Championship 3.
And great to see Jakob Raffos in here, of course, one of the World Championship drivers, along with Sindra Silva, along with Garrett Maines, along with Alex Bergeron. Great to see them taking the time to really run here. And like you mentioned, with Jakob Raffos being so quick here at this track, I think that's going to help him. But also the extra practice of especially running against his World Championship competitors, or at least a handful of them in this series, is also going to give him a huge help. But I think the thing we're really looking at right now in the timing tower as they currently sit, Dane, Alex Bergeron is not the fastest driver. He's currently 9th on the speed charts. Bit surprising to see. He's going out there to try and put in another flyer. I don't think he's going to have the time. So Alex Bergeron is going to be starting close to the tail end of one of his heats. I believe it is going to be heat number 1, where he's going to start about P4.
It's a really tricky one here at Charlotte because the fastest line, you do rub up against the barriers ever so slightly on the inside of the 2 dirt hairpins. You can't do that in qualifying. You get a 0x, your lap time is gone. Bergeron across the line. How is that going to affect his starting position? He's improved, but not nearly enough. He is down in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th in qualifying. As qualifying ticks over, we're getting 2 heat races. We've got a whole bunch of drivers on the grid. And heat number 1, the grid is going to be up on the screen. We'll have 6 drivers. 4 of them will go through to the feature race, 2 of them to the consolation. In that consolation, they will meet the 1 driver in 5th place from heat number 2, and 2 of the consolation drivers will make it through to the feature. 1 driver will be eliminated. That could be very sad for that one individual. Jakob Raffos will start on pole position for this heat race alongside Robbie Lowell and Garrett Maines. Remember, part of that Championship 3 on the outside. Also part of the Championship 3, Alex Bergeron will start on the inside of the 2nd row alongside Josh Edmondson, the 2 teammates there, starting side by side in row 2. Tyler Lugo Vickery will line up alone on the inside of that 3rd and final row. Josh, what are you expecting heading into this race? We've got 6 drivers all trying to make it through. We saw only clean starts in RX2. When we visited this place in round number 3, it was absolute chaos. But what are you expecting this time?
Can I say bottlenecking into turn number 1? Because I think we're definitely going to see a bit of that. Everybody fighting for real estate down into that first corner. I think we're going to see a lot of that. I also think we're going to see those Jim Beaver Esports cars of Bergeron and Edmondson get some pretty good starts and really work together, because you got to think having a teammate on this racetrack is going to be helpful, especially for Bergeron in that championship fight. Rapids hits the grid, and we are getting ready to go.
Once again, with that competition as to who can get onto the grid latest, it is Raffos on the inside as we are green, and that's the most even start we've seen all event long so far. And there's actually Bergeron trying to make it 4 wide at the start. He's not going to be able to, and there goes Garrett Maines all the way around the outside. They're side by side through the final corner as we get ready to start lap number 1. Maines has to file in 2nd place. It's Raffos who leads by Maines, and then I believe just behind that it is... Who is that on the outside? Actually, I can't see it. It is Robbie Lowell in 3rd position. Then we've got Bergeron just behind, who hasn't made any positions off the start. That could be crucial. He really needs to stay in that top 4. Obviously, Edmondson probably won't keep him out of the feature race, but he's got to watch out his back for a couple of the drivers. Raffos, meanwhile, bringing out a bit of a gap, Josh.
Big gap between Raffos and the rest of the field. You can see them all going single file through the dirt section. Who's going to elect a joker? Doesn't look like anybody will at the front. Alex Bergeron stays out. Edmondson is going to be the only driver to elect to take to the joker. Tyler Lugo Vickery going to work his way around. So at the front, Jakob Raffos is going to get to the front of the field by a considerable margin as well. And with Garrett Maines now trying to chase him down, you can see he's got drivers behind him. Alex Bergeron is going to try and get by these drivers. He's got a lot of work to do to get by him, but he is in a transfer spot right now, P4.
Yep, little tap to the wall on the left-hand side there, and always a bit of contact as well. Garrett Maines into the wall on the inside, and Bergeron had to really avoid that one. Fast on the outside, trying to get past the Rill, but the Rill Subaru is as wide as ever as they're going to go side by side, and around the outside of the final corner goes Alex Bergeron up into 3rd position, but he has lost time to Garrett Maines. He's going to have to try and catch that back up because, of course, there are points being awarded in the heat race, and Bergeron is anything but safe in this championship battle. Remember, the gap was only 5 points. So Bergeron in third, just behind Garrett Maines. You can see Maines on the screen now inside of his cockpit. You can see that look of concentration that we've seen every single time. That really deadpan expression. That is really odd. And I don't know if that's like planned by Bergeron. He's taking the widest line to that corner I've ever seen. All of the pros usually stick to the inside and take that little bit of tarmac on the inside, but Bergeron, he's swinging it all the way to the outside. He did Joker and he was followed by Larill. They came out substantially ahead of Edmondson, but now it's time to try and close down the gap. 2 laps to go. Raffos leads by a mile. Maines in second. We'll see where they come out of the Joker compared to Bergeron and Larill.
Bergeron safe in the transfer spots. I think it's the best thing Bergeron was looking for after that less than stellar qualifying effort from the current points leader. But Maines getting those positions over Bergeron. He's going to make up a little bit of that points deficit. Not going to be enough, Dane. When they came into this race, that points deficit in RX1 was 5 points between Bergeron and Maines. He'll make up 1 point, but he's not going to make up a ton. As you can see, Robbie Larill getting up and into P3, getting by Bergeron. I believe Alex Bergeron might have just made a mistake. He's slow on the outside line.
Bergeron has massive damage. Huge damage. Oh, and he's having to retire from the race. He's stuck on the outside of the jump. He's towed back to pit lane. He's going to head into the consolation and start at dead last. What has happened here to championship leader Alex Bergeron? Well, you were saying that the gap wasn't going to be closed down quickly enough. Garrett Maines is going to be leading the championship after the heat race. What has happened here for Bergeron? A slowdown perhaps? I'm not too sure. It doesn't look like a slowdown. Maybe some technical issues because I didn't see any damage. What has happened?
One of the weirdest things I think I might have ever seen. Bergeron very slow, and yeah, he retired the car. I don't think it could have been damaged from when he hit the curb on the inside and hiked the car up. Very, very interesting. We'll see if we can find out what the issues were for Alex Bergeron. But he is going into the consolation race, Dan, and we have a completed RX1 first heat before we get started with Heat 2.
And there are the full race results. Those top 4, Jakob Raffos, Garrett Maines, Robbie Larill, and Josh Edmondson, will be heading straight into the 10-lap feature at the end of tonight's event. Tiger Lugo Vickery will start the consolation on pole position. Alex Bergeron will start it on the outside of that front row. Jakob Raffos has just secured pole position for that feature race as well. We are getting gridded up for heat number 2. We'll have 2 rows of drivers, 3 at the front. Adam Alderton, Sindre Silva in the middle, Dorian Baptiste on the outside. Jason Hook and Bodie Cryer for DGRX are going to line up side by side on that second row with Jason on the inside. We saw a very clean start at the beginning of that first heat race. Hopefully these 5 drivers will be able to do the same. Adam Alderton in that championship battle starting from pole position. Is it the best place to start though? We saw from the outside Garrett Maines get a great launch in RX in the heat number 1. We'll see what they can do in heat number 2. They are off and away, and it's Silva who will take the lead. They're going to make contact going through the final corner. There's a bit of contact behind as well. Looks like somebody's been turned around. I think that might be Jason Hook that's been turned around as Silva leads the race ahead of Adam Alderton, who is in second, but it looks like after 1 driver,
that was Jason.
Alex Bergeron was out of fuel.
Oh no! Out of fuel for Alex Bergeron in heat number 1, but we take a look at this battle right now. Silva versus Alderton. Take a look at this one right now, Dane. They are going after it here. We know Silva's an aggressive driver. They door slammed once. Oh, maybe we'll see if they door slam again, but they continue to race through both of them. You can see the onboard. Silva's in the lead. Alderton in second, trying to chase him down. Nobody jokers at the front for lap 1.
And Alderton, whilst he's not a pro driver, did the same thing I did in qualified for the All-Star Invitational in the spring at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So he is very proficient at this circuit. Obviously, you can tell he took second place in qualifying, which put him on pole for this race. But pole position doesn't look like the best place to be. It looks like second and third have that better run through the first corner of the race. And yeah, that actually is really interesting. So maybe Jakob Raffos might not have the best starting position for the feature race. We will have to wait and see. You can see that tight lineup against the wall that they're using in this race. They kind of finish lap number 2 here. Silva leading Alderton. It looks like he has got a bit of a gap as well. So unless there's a mistake by Silver, you almost clips the barriers on the outside heading through turns 1 and 2. Unless there's a mistake from Silver, I don't see him losing that lead. Remember, the winner of this race will start in the middle of the front row for the feature race, and we do still have that battle for 5th place. Do we or do we not? I think we do. Jason Hook is in 5th place, but he is still going, and he's got Orion Baptiste about 2 seconds in front of him. So they are battling for that transfer spot. The bottom finisher of this race will join the 2 drivers from heat number 1 in the Constellation. Silver and Alderton, neither of them taking to the Joker. So now what will happen is Alderton will take the Joker this time by if Silver doesn't. If Silver does, then Alderton will go around the regular route. They make their way through turns 1 and 2 now. There are championship points still on offer, and because of the fact that Bergeron ran out of fuel and lost a whole heap of points, Alderton really needs as many points as he can get. Finishing second is going to put him tied with Garrett Maines heading into the feature race, if I can find the right word. And I'm just going to quickly go and calculate, but I think they all might be tied on points heading into the feature race if Bergeron makes it through the Constellation. That could be very interesting, as it looks like Silver's really got a bad Joker there. He went to the Joker, Alderton didn't, as I expected. But Silver was all sorts of sideways through there. I think that might have been a very slow Joker. Alderton might just be able to come out in front. We'll have to wait and see, as he has taken the white flag and he's heading up and over the jump for the final time in this heat race.
Let's see what Alderton is going to be able to pull off here. The last driver to work his way into the Joker lane here in heat number 2. He's going to work his way past the Joker. He needs to take it this time. It is a requirement for these drivers. The big question that everybody's wondering is, will he be able to come out in front into the Joker for Alderton? Where is Silva going to be? And is it going to be enough for Silva? Here's the exit. And just barely side by side door slam for the heat win. And I believe it's Alderton that got it at the line.
It just about was, and I told you Silver's Joker wasn't the best. He got all sorts of loose, and that is a massive, massive amount of points for Adam Alderton. It is 1 point more than Garrett Maines got, which means he is tied with Alex Bergeron at the top of the standings. Garrett Maines is in second, 1 point behind. It really is everything to play for in the feature race. But Alex Bergeron isn't there yet. He still has to go through the Constellation race, and that's going to be really important for him. Realistically, he should breeze through it, but it doesn't always go to plan. Full race results from heat number 2 on the screen. Jason Hook will be the driver facing off against Alex Bergeron and Tyler Lugo-Vickery in the Constellation race. And we've just gone green for said Constellation race, and yeah, it is Alex Bergeron absolutely miles out in front by the time they reach the first corner. Jason Hook is in 3rd place, I believe. No, 2nd place, sorry. Tyler Vickery in 3rd place, and that 3rd place driver will be eliminated after this 5-lap race. And Hook into the wall, as does Tyler. So it looks like Bergeron will surely breeze through this one. And Josh, and really what we're looking at is if Bergeron doesn't make any mistakes or run out of fuel again, we're looking at the battle between Hook and Lugo-Vickery, and I think Hook probably has a slight upper hand here. He's been doing Rallycross for a very long time on iRacing.
And I have a bit of a feeling here, Dane, that Alex Bergeron's really only going to make that fuel mistake once, and that's a mistake that he only makes once in his iRacing career. It's just something so simple. No, it's the fuel that is in the race car. But of course, all these drivers using the open setups, especially if they're using setups that they use also in the World Championship Series, they have just the correct amount of fuel to make it to the end of the heat, and that is it. There is no extra fuel in the car at all. So it could have been something as simple as he put the wrong setup on, maybe the wrong track, maybe they accidentally set it to the wrong gallons of fuel to make it 1 lap shorter than it needed to be. It's just something so simple like that, but trying to get right to the edge of that fuel to make sure that car is as light as possible is exactly what these drivers are trying to do. Bergeron's line on the outside of that corner, it's very confusing, but it's working for him, which is the more confusing part.
Honestly, I've never seen that. When I was practicing for the All-Star Invitational with John Robertson, I asked when he was coaching me, is that an option? Like, is that actually a viable line? He told me no. There is a bit of a tiny bit of a grip strip on the outside, but the grip strip on the inside is much better. I don't know if he's doing it just to have a different line through the corners. Maybe it's effective when you're in a pack. Who knows? But it definitely is working, of course. It also could explain why he was about 8/10 off the pace in qualifying. We'll have to wait and see if he does the same thing in the World Championship event, but coming around for the third time. And it is Bergeron leading Hook, leading Lugo Vickery at the moment. It is so weird, that line through that dirt corner. I have to ask him about it after the race, and we'll have to see where he ends up. But he is going to be starting, it looks like, 9th on that feature grid, not putting himself in a very good position to try and defend his championship lead, which as it stands right now, drop scores not included, because I don't know what drivers' drop scores are. But as it stands now, including drop scores, this should put Bergeron level with Adam Alderson. And Garrett Main's 1 point behind. And with the point structure in the series, I think it will be whoever finishes in front. I think, and that is insane. We're basically having a championship 4 finish here. Hook has just taken to the Joker. Oh, sorry, Bergeron. Hook hasn't taken to the Joker, I should say. And Bergeron is catching up to Jason Hook there, as he is on the 4th lap of the race. Bergeron is on the 5th lap of the race. No, they're both on the 5th lap of the race. I am getting a little bit confused with the Joker laps remaining there. But Hook will take to the Joker and file out, I believe, in 2nd place. I don't know where on the circuit Tyler Vickery is. He is looking like he's going to be a little bit too far back. And oh, is that a spin? Oh, I thought he spun for a second. Alex Bergeron. He's going to go the regular route, and he is going to breeze past Jason Hook. He is going to make his way into the feature race, starting 9th on the grid as he takes the win here in the consolation race. And Hook will take that 10th and final spot in the feature. Unfortunately for Tyler Lugo Vickery, that is a very difficult name to say. I apologize, Tyler. Yeah, he is going to be eliminated, unfortunately. So we have now got a 2-minute warm-up and final race results confirmed on the screen from the consolation race. Josh, we have got the final race of RX1 coming up, 10 laps, and the championship could go any way between 3 drivers. This is insane.
This is a storybook ending to this series. I don't think any of us thought going into this series we would have a 3-way battle for the championship, nor did I think anybody think we'd have a 3-way battle for the championship that would end in the final feature race of the season. This one is going to be fun. If you're not strapped into the virtual seat, in the words of my friend Evan Basoko, you better get strapped in, because it is going to be an insane fight to the championship.
And I'm not sure about a lot of the drivers, but I'm pretty sure that their drop scores are going to be low enough that their score will count tonight. They've all had a round where it didn't quite go their way. And so this is really going to be interesting. I think, as far as I'm concerned, and how I'm going to take this, as we have 40 seconds left until gridding, is that whoever finishes first out of these drivers will take the win of the championship. And I think that's how they have to take it as well, because I don't know what the drop scores are. I doubt the drivers know what the drop scores are. All we know is the point after drop scores. And so yeah, this is going to be very interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. And we're going to get the grid up on the screen to see just how the drivers will line up, all 10 of them, for the first time here at Charlotte Motor Speedway tonight. 10 laps of racing is upon us as the drivers complete the final 5 seconds of their warm-up session. And looking at the results of the warm-up session, I'm just going to try and have a look and see who set the fastest lap time. You can't see it, seems, so that's a bit disappointing. But we will get the grid up on the screen in just a few seconds time to see how everybody will line up. One thing I can tell you for sure is that Jakob Raffos is going to be starting from pole position after he took the win. In heat number 1, Adam Alderson will start in the middle of the front row alongside championship rival Garrett Main. He's going to be on the outside. We saw how good his start was, Josh, from that first heat race from that same position. Sindre Silva will be on the inside of row number 2 alongside Robbie Larille. Then row 3, Dorian Baptiste, Alex Bergeron in the middle, Sorry, no, it's not in the middle. It will be Dorian Baptiste, Josh Edmondson, and Bodie Cryer in row 3, and then the final row 2 drivers. One of them with a big point to prove, Alex Bergeron and Jason Hook. It is going to be the first driver out of Alex Bergeron, Adam Alderton, and Garrett Mains to cross the line. Will take the championship, as far as I'm concerned, in this RX1 series. We are ready to get racing. The revs are rising for the final time this season of Racecraft TV Rallycross from Charlotte Motor Speedway. We are green, and that's a great start from Garrett Mains on the outside. He's already ahead of Alderton and Raffos as they swoop through the first corner 3 wide, and they're still side by side for the front. It's the championship to Alderton and Mains side by side, and Mains, they're still side by side. Alderton around the outside into turn number 1. They make contact. Alderton is going to hit the wall. No, Raffos up the inside retakes the lead as the drivers in front crumble, and Alderton's been taken out. It's all carnage in the background, and Alex Bergeron is out as well. I think Garrett Mains has just been gifted the championship.
What a way to begin this race. We take a look at the replay, and it was a huge stack up coming through the end of that dirt corner. Contact from Silva to Alderton, and a roadblock coming over the jump, and that is about 5 cars that was involved in that one, Dane. Everybody getting caught up in this one. We'll take another look. Here's another look also at that opening turn, and what a side-by-side run between Mains and Alderton. And here they go into the dirt section. You can see Mains get a great move down to the inside, just moves Alderton up. That opens the door for Raffos. What a move from Jakob Raffos to the inside. There's the contact from Silva to Alderton, and there's the roadblock. Bergeron goes up and over. And so does Jason Hook and a couple of other drivers as well. But
everyone.
Yeah, that is basically everyone at the back there. But where we stand now, Jakob Raffos leads the way. Garrett Mains in second, and I believe where the points are going to line up, Dane, unless Alex Bergeron can make a championship drive work, it is going to be Garrett Mains walking away with the championship.
It could go any way, but Mains is in the driving seat at the moment. He has got already one hand on the championship. The drop scores could say no. I mean, it is definitely possible that drop scores are going to take a major play in this championship. But if we eliminate drop scores from the equation, then Garrett Mains is currently in the position to take the championship. Raffos out in front. You can see him there on the right-hand side of those 2 drivers. Garrett Mains is the driver on the left in sort of the middle area of the screen. And you can see it's great for the drivers are lending us a little bit of a look inside of their in real life cockpits as they make their way through the sim. Raffos really dominant out there at the moment, and I just want to say what happened there. It wasn't Silva just slamming into the side of someone. He tapped the inside wall at turn 2. It's so easy to do. He was on the inside of 3 cars, just tapped the inside wall, and it sent his car across the circuit, unfortunately taking out 2 of the championship contenders as well as 5 or 6 other drivers. Really unfortunate stuff there. Nothing anyone really could have done. They were all battling hard, and it really sort of was always going to happen. And now taking a look at Alderton, I believe, no, Baptiste is on the back of Bergeron. Bergeron has made his way up into 3rd position. I'm going to have to go and double check what the exact point scoring format is, because Garrett Mains and Bergeron were not on the same number of points. Mains was 1 point behind, and looking at this, he will be 1 point ahead of Bergeron if it remains like this. Unfortunately for Bergeron, he has got a massive gap to try and close down in the last 5 laps of this race. As it stands now, it is still Garrett Mains who will take the championship. You can see, you can't even see him on the screen. The gap between the 2 of them is somewhere in the range of 10 seconds. Garrett Mains really has got everything here. He's tapped the wall, though. That's not going to help his chances at all. They do still have to take the Joker, the top 3, and Jason Hook as well in 9th place. Yeah, Josh, I'm actually kind of disappointed. It's kind of an anticlimactic finish to the season. I was hoping we were going to get a massive good race, but Mains, I don't think he'll complain at all.
Oh, Mains gonna be the last person to complain about that if he walks away with the championship, especially after not the best luck in the World Championship this season for Garrett Mains. His luck could have gone in a lot of better ways, but we have issues for Alex Bergeron. He gets taken out in the dirt section. I believe a mistake from the 15. Dorian Baptiste is also around. That puts Bergeron up 1 more spot, but another incident in the dirt section for Alex Bergeron. That is twice today, Dane. He has made a mistake there.
Yeah, we're going to have a replay of that as well. Alderson has just moved up into the place directly behind him, so if Alderson can overtake him... Oh, is it a little bit of contact there, actually, and taps the wall. Very, very easy to tap the wall there, and yeah, takes out a couple of drivers and really a lot of damage to that car. It would not surprise me if we saw a couple of drivers making some overtakes on Bergeron. Alderson will be the first one to try with 4 laps to go. Now you're seeing Garrett Maines leading the race. He hasn't taken his Joker, whereas Rafos has. And that is just how good Rafos has been. He's taken the Joker, taken the 2.7 seconds, I think it is, delta. 1.7 to 2 seconds, excuse me. And he's right on the back of Maines. He's out there by a mile. Rafos is actually in a position to try and help. It's Alderton. Garrett Maines and Alderton have been practicing together. They've been helping each other throughout the season, so it's a bit weird for them to then be championship rivals. It's a similar situation to the World Championship last year, where it was into the final round. John Robertson and Johan Hart, just teammates going for the championship. Heading into the final round of the World Championship on Wednesday, it's like a 3-way battle for the championship. It's going to be amazing, but we are currently looking at the driver who is set to take the championship win. Alderton has got ahead of Bergeron as well, it's worth saying, so Alderton will take second place in the championship as it stands, but 2 laps remain. Now, Charlotte Motor Speedway's iRacing circuit for Garrett Maines. One of those laps will have to take the Joker, but he should just cruise to finish to the victory, because he has got a 10-second gap to the nearest drivers behind. Obviously he'll want to win, but I don't think the way that Rafos has been driving that is going to be possible. It's a bit weird to look at Jakob Rafos driving. He's got a bit of a tilt with his head. He sort of looks left all the time, but yeah, that's it. Maines has really been gifted the championship. I would have loved to have seen a bit of a better race than what we've seen, but honestly, he's not undeserving, I would say. He's not had the best of seasons in either series, the World Championship or this, but he's been up there consistently, and that's really all that matters. He'll take the Joker on the last time by. He will take the white flag this time by, as we are on the final lap of the RX1 season here in 2021 for Racecraft TV Rallycross, and Maines is up and over the jump. He's just got 4 corners left to go until he might become champion.
Of course, we will wait on that official word from the racing officials here at Racecraft TV Rallycross, but either way, what a season it has been for Garrett Maines. He's been up front so many times this season. He's gotten a handful of RX1 feature race wins. He'll take to the Joker, and as he does so, coming through the final couple of corners, Dane, what a run for Jakob Rafos. He gets the win here in the feature for Charlotte, here at Charlotte in the final round of the season.
And yeah, absolutely fantastic drive. I told you to watch out for him. I did. I told you to watch out for him, and I was always going to back Jakob, and a bit of contact in the background. Someone stuck on their side. That's a bit unfortunate. That's Garrett Maines. He's got a bit of a smile on his face. I don't know if he has worked out that he might just be in a position to take the championship. I think he's doing a little bit of celebrating there. He might know, he might not. We don't know yet. Oh my goodness! Someone has launched their car Trevor Teal style out of that jump that Trevor found. So that was something I just seen on the back of my screen. But at the end, the race results are as follows. Jakob Rafos takes the win for the final round of the season. Great performance by the young Norwegian driver. Garrett Maines is in second, then Robbie Laville in third. Adam Alderton, Pips, Sindre Silva, and Alex Bergeron, who've ended up finishing in 6th position. Looks like Alderton might just have taken second place off of who was the leading driver heading into this round. But Josh Edmondson in 7th place, Dorian Baptiste in 8th, 1 lap down. Also 1 lap down was Jason Hook, Buddy Cryer not able to finish the event. We will see in a few minutes how this works. We're going to have to wait for confirmation, of course. I said if Bergeron wins the race, we know he's champion. He didn't win the race. He finished 6th. Garrett Maines finished 2nd. More than enough points to take the championship. We need to confirm where the drop scores lie, but it's looking good for Maines at the moment, Josh.
And if whatever happens in the championship, of course, we just need to talk about how great of a season this has been for an opening season of Racecraft TV Rallycross, seeing so many of the World Championship drivers come out and race, especially, after the qualifiers. And a lot of these drivers also were trying to qualify in. Some of them did. Of course, some of them are currently in the World Championship. And great to see them be here and really take the time to not only race here, but also just get the practice in for the World Championships. Just awesome to see for everybody who races in this series. But Dane, it looks like we do now have an official word at who is our champion, and that is going to be the Elliott Sadler Esports driver, Garrett Maines.
Yeah, but it looks like he is just about taking it by 3 points over Adam Alderton, not Alex Bergeron. Alex Bergeron was 6 points back after a terrible, terrible error. He will be kicking himself because he really should have been right up at the front of that race. And then, of course, he wouldn't have been at the back and get taken out in the feature race. And honestly, it's, of course, driver error. It's his mistake. But if he hadn't made that mistake, it could have ended so differently. But it looks like, after all the drop scores have been calculated, Garrett Maines wins the championship, 153 points, Adam Alderton on 150, and Alex Bergeron on 147. Also worth noting, Josh Edmondson took 4th place off of Josh Fox in the championship as well. Well, I think there is only one place to start for driver interviews, and that is with who I can now confirm is Season 1 RX1 champion in Racecraft TV Rallycross in 2021. Garrett Maines joins us. Garrett, congratulations. That was a very chaotic round of the season, but it ends up with you right on top at the end as champion. That must feel great.
Yeah, absolutely. Going into that race, especially after qualifying, I was not thinking it was going to work out, and especially when Adam beat out Sindre in the heat, it was looking like it was going to fall right into his hands. But I feel like I got a really good start there and just stayed in position just enough to be able to come away with a second place finish there, enough points.
Well, you had a pretty good run in the heat race, and then of course in that heat race it was a mistake from Bergeron in terms of setup. He loaded the wrong setup and didn't have enough fuel to finish the race. That ended up putting you 1 point behind him and Alderton, who were tied for the lead of the championship heading into the feature race. Were you aware of all of the point shenanigans going on at the time, or did you just want to get the best finish possible?
You see, I've been out of town doing like the eNASCAR tour, so I haven't been able to race these last few races. I had no idea the points are close until I think it was last weekend. I asked Adam, I'm like, hey, where are the points at? Just curious. He's like, yeah, you're tied with me, 5 behind Bergeron. I was like, huh. Oh, that's close. So I showed up this week, and I knew I was kind of behind the 8 ball. This is one of my worst tracks now. I think I'm confirming this is probably one of my worst. Jacob is absolutely nuts here. I know Adam, was really fast as well, and then obviously Alex, I think, won the first time here. So I was like, this is probably not the ideal track. But it just, when he made that mistake in the heat, that put us in position to be able to. It was just highest finisher in the top 5 basically was, the requirement. Somebody was going to finish in the top 5 more than likely odds were. So it was 1 point between the 3 of us. It was really cool to be able to get it done.
Yeah, we almost had a NASCAR playoffs, championship 4-style finish there. It was actually really cool to see. But it all went downhill for the other two very, very quickly. You had Sindre Silva on the inside of the cluster of cars. I guess you would have seen that in your mirrors and definitely on the relative when suddenly everybody else drops 10 seconds on you.
Yeah, there was a relief.
Yeah, relief.
Because I knew he was going to be breathing down my neck the whole race because I didn't feel like I had the pace. So, I hate to see that happen. I knew it was going to be tight, but I didn't see how far he'd fallen. I just saw that he got snagged. I'm like, that's time right there. That's breathing room.
Yeah, we were saying I wasn't particularly happy at how the season ended, but I think you were going to be the last person to complain about it. I think that's definitely right after taking the championship. But you said you weren't able to make a few of the rounds, but of the rounds that you did attend, obviously you did get some pretty good performances in there. What was your favorite round of the season, do you think?
Honestly, it's probably not one that I won. I feel like Brands Hatch and Barcelona really stick out as being really, really good rounds. They were 2 tracks that I really had no expectations going into, and I think they're arguably some of the best battles that we had all year, potentially. Not biased or anything, but I felt like they were pretty cool, and it was definitely, a lot of fun duking it out with Alex and Sindre. And I think Sindre again at Barcelona, that was a freaking brawl. So definitely been a lot of fun in this series, and really glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, you and Sindre and Alex as well at Brands Hatch was probably some of the best iRacing Rallycross racing I've ever seen. That was absolutely insane. I would like to touch on Sindre for a moment, because you two have basically been battling it out, not only in Racecraft TV Rallycross, but also in the World Championship. Whenever I'm watching, I'm looking out for you two. If you're on the track together, you're usually separated by a bumper length. And it's actually really cool to see the sort of rivalry forming there. Is that something that you know of? Because, I mean, it seems that way from watching from the outside.
I don't know. I think it's been, like, in these races, yeah, it probably cost us a shot at Barcelona. I feel like I left the door open for him way too many times, and I kind of arched my way into it to start, so the mirror got pretty big after that. But it's been a lot of fun racing with him this season, and, hopefully we'll be able to continue duking it out throughout the off-season, and if we have a series next year, that'll be a lot of fun to be a part of again. It's definitely been fun. Like, it's always good to have somebody that you can consistently duke it out, not crash, unless the circumstances at Brands Hatch are different. But it's been a lot of fun.
It certainly has. Well, Garrett, congratulations on the championship win, and obviously the second place here as well. Good luck for the World Championship race on Wednesday, the season finale there as well. Congrats on the championship. Before we let you go for the final time in this season, is there anyone you would like to give a shout out to? I know there is.
Yeah. Gotta give a shout out to Offerpad, Smithfield, Lennox, everybody that supported me this year throughout the Rallycross season, throughout the Coke Series. Definitely cool to cap it off with a championship here in the Racecraft series, and just big shout out to them and all the guys at Elliott Sadler Esports for all their support all season.
Well, it's been great having you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you very, very soon. Like I said, good luck for that World Championship finale on Wednesday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, it was great to hear from our Season 1, our inaugural RX1 champion. Josh, who are you standing by with? I think I can have a guess.
Well, we're going to grab our feature race winner, Jacob Raffus. And Jacob, we didn't see too much from you this season, but when we saw you, you were quick on the racetrack. And Dane talked about practicing with you before the All-Star Invitational and just how quick you were. What is it about this Charlotte track that just gives you that extra couple of horsepower?
Yeah, it's pretty fast track. To be fair, I've always been pretty consistent and setting those fast lap times there. And I've done thousands of laps, and it's really like the track. I'm enjoying it.
And going into tonight, were you confident in the speed, or did you think the championship drivers of Mainz, Alderton, and Bergeron were going to be racing you a little bit more difficult, and it would be a little bit tougher of a race for you?
I've seen Adam's pace, and I was a bit scared of that one. But I was not sure about the others. But Adam was definitely one of the people that could have won that race.
And also going into the World Championship, of course, you're coming off the heels of one of your best finishes a couple of rounds ago. Can you do it again at Charlotte? Can you finish the season on a high?
Yeah, let's see. I don't know yet, but maybe it can be a win.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here in the Racecraft TV commentary box, and congratulations on your feature race win here tonight in RX1 from virtual Charlotte.
Thanks.
Great to hear from Jacob Raffus, Dane, and great finish for him, top of the standings here in RX1. And we'll transition over. We're going to talk to podium finisher Robbie Larilli. He finished third. We'll talk to him in just a couple of moments, but we're going to talk first to one of the drivers that was in that championship fight and came up a little bit close. You're standing by with Adam Alderton.
Yeah, Adam, that was very sad at the end there, but a whole season of effort to put you tied first heading into the feature race, that must have been an insane amount of pressure. Did you know, this is the first thing I asked Garrett, and Garrett didn't know, did you know that you were going to be that close heading into the feature after the mistake made by Bergeron and how your races went?
Oh yeah, I knew what the points were going into the feature. I knew I had to beat him, and got the better launch than him first into the corner. And well, what happened? Well, the replay speaks for itself. Yeah, not how I wanted it to end, but I'll get him back.
Yeah, well, it's a very respectable finish for you still. With the damage that you sustained from that, you managed to get back up into 4th position, I believe. And that was good enough to get you 2nd place in the championship ahead of Bergeron. Did you come into the round expecting that you could take the championship, or were you just trying to beat Mains for 2nd?
I came in wanting to win the championship. I knew I had the pace to do so. Charlotte's one of my better tracks, and I know Garrett struggles a lot on the track, so I thought after the heat that I had it covered, providing I survived turn 1. I thought I was all fine, but then, yeah, the big one happened, which is, I've been waiting for that all year, and it came at the worst time. But, yeah, it is what it is. It's 2nd place, but I really wanted that 1st place, but it is what it is.
Well, we'll see what you can do about getting some retribution when you end up maybe in the next season of the championship, which was confirmed earlier on, maybe in just in passing, by Trevor Teal. He has confirmed there will be a 2nd season of Racecraft TV Rallycross, which is fantastic for us. I'm sure that you'll be joining us for that as well. But it's been a great season for you. You've had some massive highs, some I would say fairly lows. This is probably a low, even though you finished like 2nd in the championship. It's probably not one of your favorite rounds, I would imagine. But what is your favorite round of the season?
That's hard, because probably it's between the 2 Sonomas where I won both of the rounds. I think round 2, where I stole the win on the last lap, was probably my favourite, because it was my first win in a league race on iRacing, and just the way it happened. I mean, yeah, it's not the best way to get a first win. I had a good, the entire event was just going well for me, and I was happy to pick up the win there. The last round, getting my first clean sweep in points, that put me tied with Garrett and a couple points behind Bergeron. That comes really close as well. There was some really good racing there with Bergeron and Parisi. So, it'll be one of those 2, I think, for sure.
Well, that's just about wraps up this season then. It's been a pretty awesome one, I must say. You've provided some fantastic racing, keeping up with the pros as well. Maybe we might see you on the pro calendar maybe next year if we do get another World Championship series. But yeah, Adam, it's been great to have you on the show, and congratulations on that 2nd place in the championship, and also that 4th place in the feature race after not the greatest start in the world. But yeah, congratulations on all of that, and we hope to see you very, very soon. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to for the final time?
Yes, Mario Bonfante, Kez Industries, Jacob Raffos, Dorian Batiste for all their help recently. Christian Raffos Lindo for just reassuring me that all was going to go well. And yeah, that's it.
Oh, thanks a lot, and we hope to see you very soon in the 2nd season of the championship. But yeah, congratulations on that 2nd place finish.
Thank you very much.
All right, Josh is standing by, I believe, with the driver that he promised he would be standing by with. Up next is Robbie Larrell.
And a great podium finish for you, Robbie, here in this round of the championship. And what a place to do it as well. Charlotte, what was your confidence level coming into tonight, and do you think you met those expectations?
I was pretty confident about Charlotte. Charlotte's one of my best tracks, my favorite track for sure. That I was confident up until the 2nd turn after the finish line, and we all kind of met up and crashed right there. I wasn't too confident after that, but I was slowly chipping away at it, slowly here and there, and then me and Bergeron all got into it, and he ended up going into the wall, and I guess I got lucky on that one.
And coming into, of course, tonight, it's been a rather up and down season for you, but it seems like you're always towards the top of the feature. I believe you made every single feature this season. So are you proud of this season coming in against a lot of the World Championship drivers and constantly having your name up at the top of the leaderboard every single round?
Yeah, and it actually helps build confidence too in that part. I felt like I could have done a little better on a lot of the tracks, but I mean, it's always good racing with these guys. I mean, they're fast, and they've made me way faster than when I first started.
And going in, of course, to the next season of Racecraft TV Rallycross, whenever that might be, can we expect to see you again in RX1? And where's your confidence level at? Can you make a run at the World Championship drivers for a possible championship?
Definitely, I'll be prepared for next season and for the World Championship. I'll make sure that I get a little bit more elbows out because that's what it takes to drive in the World Championship, it seems.
Well, thank you very much once again for joining us here in the Racecraft TV commentary booth, and congratulations on your third place finish here in the feature.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great to hear from Robbie Larrill there, Dane. And one final interview of the season, and it is with Sindre Silva. You're standing by with him now.
We couldn't leave you out, Sindre. We couldn't do it after a fantastic season all around. I mean, you've given us some great racing. Fifth place here today at Charlotte, and just looking at the final points standings as well. You finished 7th overall in the championship, but probably could have done a bit better if you maybe, I think you missed a few rounds of the championship. Potentially, but yeah, it looked like you had fun throughout the season. We definitely had fun watching you. What are your thoughts on the overall season?
It's been a fun season for sure. It's been a good league in itself to have behind the World Championship, so we get a little bit the idea of the pace from the other World Championship guys, but also so we get some practice in like race practice as well on the track and on the weather and everything before the World Championship. So I'll not drag it under that. My main focus is the World Championship, and therefore I hadn't been 100% focusing on the series. But for sure, if Josh can bring up another league after World Championship, I will maybe focus a little bit more on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Representing Team Yokohama, I believe, Yokohama
Yes.
Advan in the World Championship, taking over from what technically, I guess you could say, are the reigning teams champions in the series, even though it's neither of the two same drivers. You're with Thomas Wangen as your teammate in the World Championship this year. Heading into the final round of that on Wednesday, I would love to ask you what your thoughts are, because obviously didn't have the best of rounds here, but that obviously wasn't helped by the fact that you were involved in a pretty hefty shunt at the start of the race, involving everyone except Parafos and Mains. That definitely didn't help your chances in this race. But what do you think where do you think your pace lies compared to some of the other guys?
I don't know. Currently, we just bought a new simulator in Rotarion, so I'm using that during the practices, during World Championship, everything. That's my main simulator at the moment. So I'm not there, so I'm using what I have here at home, and that's not the best after spending 2 weeks getting used to the other stuff. So I couldn't really show off my pace, but I'm glad I put the laptops actually did in qualifying, knowing that I still are up there, and I know for sure with more practice and everything, I will be down where Jacob's times are. So I'm not so concerned about this race, but I don't really have anything to drive for in the World Championship anymore, and it's not really. I don't really want to put too much time into the series because of some reasons, and but I'm there for Jacob for the last round. He's currently P9 in the World Championship, and I think every Norwegian is happy with that. So we're gonna try to focus on him for this last round and try to grab that top 10 for him.
Yeah, Jakob in this debut season doing a brilliant job, it must be said. But I would like to ask you one final question, then I'll let you get on with your evening because I know it's very late at the moment in Europe. But yeah, final question: favorite round of the season? You've had 11 of them, and the Phoenix race as well, where you spun me out, but no hard feelings about that. No, but seriously, what is your favorite round of the season?
I don't really know. Like I loved the Brands hatch until I got taken out, or until we crashed. I loved Barcelona until I got crashed. Like some of the rounds really showed what Rallycross on iRacing is, if I can say it in that way. Close fighting. I even heard you talked about the relationship between me and Garrett, and that really showed the close battle that you can have in Rallycross, and I think that's what we actually want to do in the World Championship as well. So I think the rounds that we really could show off what Rallycross on iRacing is, and really show off what we can make of the platform in the future. Those rounds.
Yeah, those few rounds I think were Garrett's favorite rounds as well, even though he didn't win them either. So yeah, it definitely did look like you guys had a ton of fun out there. It was a great fun commentating on it. You guys put on a great show. But yeah, that wraps up the season. Good luck for the final round of the World Championship, of course, helping Rafos in the World Championship finale at Phoenix on Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us for the entire season and for the interview as well. Congratulations on your finishing positions in both tonight's event and the championship as well. And I hope to see you back very soon. The second season of the championship has been confirmed by Trevor as well, so hope to see you back very soon. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, for sure. I want to thank you guys for keeping up and broadcasting the whole thing. Josh Edmondson and those guys for putting up the whole thing. I want to thank my organization, Rotarian, for supporting me, and our sponsor, Omen Humanity, Pure Norway, and Menta by Sats for supporting the whole team and whole organization in their way and showing off what we can do with esports in the future.
Well, it's been great to hear from you, Sindri. Thanks so much, and we will see you very soon.
See you guys.
Well, that wraps everything up, and after 12 weeks of what really doesn't feel like 12 weeks, we started the season, Josh, in August. And that just seems like such a long time ago, but really, it doesn't feel like that season's been that long. It has flown by. The drivers have been amazing. Honestly, the entire thing, RX1 and RX2, both of the series have provided us fantastic racing week in and week out. And then we all top it off with 3 drivers separated by 1 point heading into the final 10 laps of the season. I mean, you really couldn't ask for much more, could you?
You really could not. This has been an amazing season, and I know everybody at Racecraft TV, Josh Edmondson and the crew, has been so excited about this campaign and the fact that started after the qualifying series. We started 3 weeks before the World Championship. We had World Championship drivers from the very beginning getting practice in before that World Championship began, and it has been a great ride to the finish. And throughout all of the rounds, Phoenix turning into a fun race on Halloween, no points attached, and then going through the other 11 rounds that had points on them, and finishing out here at Charlotte following the World Championship calendar starting from round 4. It has been amazing. Garrett Maines, Alex Bergeron, Adam Alderton, Bo Albert winning, and Sindri Silva all winning feature races of RX1, and Michael Lawrence, Christopher Plumley, Zach Knowles, Tor Andre Borison, and Zachary Drapkin all winning feature races in RX2 as well. What a season, Dane, and what a way to wrap it up with the championship fight all the way to the end.
Yeah, the season has been absolutely incredible, and I cannot thank everyone at Racecraft TV Rallycross enough for putting this on. But for the very final time, if you haven't had enough of Rallycross, I will say, go watch the season finale of the World Championship on Wednesday evening. But For Trevor Teal at Racecraft TV Rallycross, for Josh Edmondson at Racecraft TV, car cameras for the season and some track cameras as well for selected round by Istvan Below at trackcams22.com. And for my colleague in the booth, Joshua Lee, my name is Dane Baird. Thank you so much for tuning into live coverage of the Racecraft TV Rallycross Championship all season long. We'll see you very soon for the second season in 2022. But for now, from everyone here at Racecraft TV, well, thank you for watching and wish you a good night.